Greetings and salutations. This is Carla from MooreTalkJa. I am here with a poem called On Terminology. I wrote it October last year. Now, I have a discussion that I want to have, but I'm going to put it after the poem for the people that who don't really care about the discussion and just want to hear about the poem. Alright, so on terminology. He says, we protect our women. We, collective, unit, despite all the things between us that are not the same, we protect them. Protect. Not because they are weak or fragile, not because they cannot do it on their own. Every woman I've ever met has been better at taking care of herself than I could ever be, but I am friends to them, the women. So even as they gather together to do it on their own, we gather together in case they should need us. We call that friendship. Genitalia need not apply. Our women, yes, our women, not because we own them, not because they belong to us, but because there are things we understand between and among us that you would never understand if you have never been us. Because there are things I can say to them, one line that will mean books to them. Because there are ways they can cut their eyes at me that teach the things taught in years. Because there are things we collective stand through together, including the women. Because we share that, they are our women. Belonging not to us, but belonging with us. Being like us, ours. Like the sun is ours, like the wind is ours. Like we do not own but share. We protect our women. Not because we are men, because we are here. We are human. We are in the fight every day because we protect each other and ourselves. And sometimes what that means is we protect our women. We, collective, protect to help a part of the group, equal women. They that are not us. We protect our women gladly. Okay, so here comes the rant now. So I went to a talk that they had on campus, and Aboriginal activist, a man, he came and he was talking about some of the injustices that had been done to his community, right? And the fact that they wanted to carry all of these old batteries and come and dump them on their sacred land, and he wanted them to dump them right on top of the water table, and it was infecting his children and all of these types of things. And he said, we protect our women. And I saw where some people kind of bristled at the idea that he would say that a man would refer to the women as, our women, as if he was trying to take ownership of women. And it was a militant man. It's like the type of man where him said, look, I'm done parading our women and our children on your nightly news in order to get the rest of Canada to care about our troubles. If you are coming with a bulldozer, we're going to come with our guns. Me and my men are going to get our guns. And at the end of the day, you might have killed some Indians, but we would have killed some of you too. This is, this is the type of person that he is. And I looked at him and I said, there are a lot of people, especially people who identify as feminists, who are going to have a problem with this man and the fact that he just said that. Because there are a lot of people who are having these discussions right now about masculinity and the right way to be a man and what is healthy masculinity. And they want to show men of color, and the phrase upsets me because everybody has a color, but they want to show men of color how to be healthy and how to be masculine. And very often what that means is that they must soften themselves, they must be less militant, they must be quote unquote kinder, and it's foolishness. It's foolishness because you haven't thought it out to understand why that man is the type of man that he is. Now, there is work that needs to be done, especially in communities where people deal with injustice and violence every day. There is work that needs to be done, healing work that needs to be done on all of the people in those communities. Because men historically have more power than women, and those men turn around and further oppress the women, definitely there's healing work that needs to be done on those men. But you cannot come from your white, middle class, North American perspective and dare to tell any man how it is that he needs to be a man. How dare you think you have the right to believe that the way that you are masculine is the only way to be masculine? Maybe the way you're masculine is too damn soft. Maybe you need a little more fight, or maybe you don't need any fight in you because you never had to fight for anything. How dare you? Do you even stop to think why it is that certain men have certain type of engagements with violence? and with needing to be militant. When you walk out of your door and the people are telling you that you have never been good, your whole family is useless, and you will never turn up anywhere, they don't want to hire you for jobs, your child is starving, your woman cannot find a job to help support you, how is it that this type of thing that does violence to you, you cannot retaliate with violence? And how dare you tell this man that it's okay for a system to do that type of violence for him, but him not try to protect himself and the people that he loves by being violent or militant or too masculine, hyper masculine in return? How dare you think that it's your place? What you need to do is spend the time trying to get rid of the things that are working on this man so that he can become the type of person he wants to be, not the type of person you want him to be. And it's not just the men. It happens to black women as well. If I hear another story about a strong black woman, I would love to live in a world where black women didn't actually have to be strong. I would love to live in a world where black women were entitled to have mental breakdowns every other day because things were just too hard and actually survive. You know what happens if a black woman has a mental breakdown every other day about how hard things are? Her children starve, her mother doesn't get any medication, and her whole family implodes. And yes, I know I'm talking about one aspect of the black experience, and I'm not trying to say that all black people are poor or that all black people struggle, but I am trying to state that there are certain challenges that black people, people of color, let's all say the truth about it, non-white people experience in certain settings that are common, right? And I'm not being racist. I think I can talk about the things that happen to people who are not white without people saying that I'm racist against white people. So the idea of what a man is and what a man is supposed to be and the right way to be a man, and the idea that a white North American privileged, most likely college educated man who has the time and mental space to inspect his own navel lint and think about all the ways that his masculinity is better than other masculinities, the idea that that man has the right to come and try to take up these other men on how the way they are masculine is wrong, the idea that they can do that and not see how that is just another colonialist, imperialist undertaking is beyond me. Because it seems pretty obvious to me. You came to our countries and you taught us how to be a particular type of man. And you taught them how to be men that were very patriarchal, men that thought that masculinity was more important than anything, men that thought that being a man meant that they should run the world. And when that masculinity encountered race and poverty and all of these other things, it morphed into something that, yes, is an issue, and yes, something that needs to be dealt with because we need to start fixing our communities. But now you think that since you have profited from all of the colonizing of us and all of the resources that you have gotten, you don't need to fight anymore. So you don't need that part of masculinity anymore, that part that says fight, protect, that part that says you are the leader, you go out and be in charge, that part that says if gunshot are fire, you put yourself to the front of the line because that's what men do. You don't need that part of masculinity anymore because they don't even sell guns in your community. In our communities, they still do. So you don't need that anymore. So you want to come and tell them that they should do away with it, and it's a problem that they're still using that, and you don't see how it's a problem that you're doing that, the better. So it's 8 minutes. I'm going to wrap up now. I haven't said half of what I want to say, but I think I have said some of what I want to say. Please, can we think a little bit further than what is in front of us now? And please, can we stop demonizing Black men, Hispanic men, indigenous men, brown men, Arab men, whatever? Can we stop turning these men into villains because of the ways that they are not white middle class men? And can we understand that on this continuum from one masculinity to the other, maybe some people need to get a little tougher, maybe some people need to get a little softer, but there is nobody who could tell anybody the right way to be a man, and certainly you don't get to come and tell men how to be men. Goodbye.